Shopify Metafields are finally here. They're part of the overall Shopify Online Store 2.0 update, which is a huge update that Shopify rolled out about mid-2021. Okay, so it's been 6 months now. We've got a lot of new themes that are on Shopify Online Store 2.0 architecture. And one of the most important features that I want to talk about today is Metafields. Metafields have been available for a while, but only developers could use them because they weren't part of the actual Shopify admin, like the interface. Now that we have new themes on Online Store 2.0, regular people, store owners, marketers, you can use them as well. Firstly, let's talk about what are Metafields. Okay, they're basically custom fields for products and for collections. Okay, what do I mean by custom fields? I mean that when you're creating a new product, right, in your Shopify admin, you have the title field, you have the description box, right? You have the price, and you can upload images. So these are all fields, right? But you're not able to create your own custom fields, are you? You're not able to, say, split the description into two parts. Say you want like a title and then you want like a subtitle, like maybe one sentence that goes under the title, and then you want the main description below that, right? You can't create your own like subtitle field, or you couldn't before, but now you can with Metafields. Okay, so that's what Metafields are. They're custom fields for your products mainly, and for your collections as well. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use them, how you can set up Metafields, so how you can define them. First, you define Metafields through settings in your Shopify admin, and then you can use them on products. And I'm also going to show you how I'm using Metafields now on a real website, so that you can have like a real life example. Okay, actually, let's jump right into a real life example. Okay, I'm going to show you this first. How this brand, Fresh Ego Kid, they're a client of mine, okay, and I've been working on their site over the past year or so, just adding little upgrades, just little features that they wanted. And one of these features is this other options thing, right? This other options section. As you can see, it's the same pants in a different color, and they call it other options, and they have lots of products across their store that have this other options section. So how do they actually add this, right? Because this isn't an app. They didn't want to pay for an app. They'd rather pay me one time so that I could set this up for them. And then they have this ability and they don't need to rely on an app or pay for an app monthly or anything like that. And this is using Metafields, okay? So let me show you what that looks like. So let's jump into the product admin. This is that same product. And if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, look at this. We have Metafields, right? We didn't have this before. We didn't have this prior to like July 2021. You weren't able to see them like this. Developers could use them, but they were hidden, okay? And so here we have this field, similar products. That's what I'm calling it in the admin. They're calling it other options on the front end. It doesn't really matter. We've got this field, and this is where they add product tags of the related products. So the Bel Air Relaxed Fit joggers in gray, that's what we're seeing there. And then they've also added another product, but that product, in sage green, but that product is probably out of stock, and that's why it's not showing up there. But basically you can see how it works. They have this extra field where the store owner or the store manager can add related products, right? So we have another section on the product page. It's called Complete the Look. And let's scroll down a little bit. This is Complete the Look, right? So they got these tan color or brown color, I would say, joggers, and they've also got the same color hoodie, shirt, and a matching hat, right? And this is called Complete the Look, and these products are all added through Metafields. So here's complete the look, and here's the handles of those products, and they're just separated by a comma, right? So they just add a bunch of products, separate them by commas, and it's pretty easy, and they save, and that shows up on the product page. Pretty useful feature for them because they want people to buy, you know, a whole outfit, right? So let's jump into defining Metafields. Defining or creating Metafields is done through the settings panel in the Shopify admin. So just if you're on any page, you're going to go into settings, and then you're going to go in the settings screen, you're going to go into Metafields. And then we're going to add a definition. Okay, so we're going to create a new custom Metafield. And for this example, what I'm going to create is a small intro paragraph under the title. Okay, so like in my example at the start of this video, you know, say I want, under this title, I want just one sentence. I want it to be right here under the price, and it's going to be like, these are the best joggers, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's different from the main product description, which is down here. And it's going to be longer, and it's going to be using the regular product description field. So my field is just going to be one sentence, and I'm going to call it product intro. Okay. And yeah, I want to have a different product intro for each product. So let's add this definition. I'm going to call it product intro, or product intro line, whatever. So namespace and key. This is basically just like an ID for this Metafield. This is for the sake of organization. Okay, so instead of my fields, let's just call it like product fields. Yeah, product fields, and then dot. So this is the namespace, and then it goes dot, and then this is the key. So product fields dot product intro line. So like if I was to make another one, I would call it product fields dot, I don't know, product like extra images or like extra info, product specs, whatever. I'd call it product fields dot product specs. Description, this isn't really needed, and then just select a content type. So in our case, this is going to be text. And these content types, I'm also not going to go into this now because it's not that important. It's mainly for validation. So like, so that you enter the correct content type. If it's supposed to be a number, and you enter letters, it'll tell you, oh, enter a number here. Anyway, in our case, it's text, and in most cases, it will be text usually, I would say. And that's it. We're going to save that. And now we have this new Metafield, product intro line. And now that's going to show up on our product admin page. So I'm going to refresh the page, and you're going to see that at the bottom of the page, under the Metafield section, we now have product intro line. And now I can fill this out. You know, I can say, these are the best joggers. And then, okay, all that remains now is actually adding that Metafield to the template, because okay, we've defined the Metafield and we've filled out the data in the Metafield if I hit save here. But how do we actually add that Metafield to the template? How do we tell Shopify that we want it to appear here under the product title and not somewhere else? Okay, that's the next and final part of this tutorial. Okay guys, for this part of the tutorial, we're gonna have to say goodbye to Fresh Ego Kid, because unfortunately they're still using a Shopify Online Store 1.0, or like the old Shopify theme architecture. We haven't yet upgraded them to an Online Store 2.0 store. Okay, so the way that I've added these Metafields here is by adding them to the code. Okay, this is pretty simple as well, but I'm not going to be explaining that in this tutorial because this tutorial is not for developers. It's aimed for store owners, for non-technical people, so that you can do it yourself, right? So here's the most important thing. You're gonna have to be on a Online Store 2.0 theme, okay? And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this tutorial now and not 6 months ago when it was released. Because when Shopify released Metafields and Shopify Online Store 2.0, there weren't many themes that were on Shopify Store 2.0, right? So themes needed to update themselves, right? Release updated versions of their themes to use these features, right? And so now 6 months later, we now have plenty of themes that are using Shopify Online Store 2.0. You can see them by going to themes.shopify.com and then right under collections Online Store 2.0 themes, right? And now there are a lot of themes. 6 months ago, there weren't that many. Now there are a lot, and actually if you are already using a theme that you purchased from the Shopify theme store, like Fresh Ego Kid is using Impulse, and it is now on OS 2.0. You don't have to pay for this theme again, right? So if you already purchased a theme, you don't have to pay for it again to update to 2.0. So I highly recommend you update, get the latest version of the theme, and yeah, if you've been thinking about getting a new theme, now is the perfect time, okay? So let's continue with the tutorial about Metafields. Okay, so now we're in my own development store that I use for testing different things. And as you can see, we're in the theme editor, which you can go into by going to Online Store, then Themes, then Customize on the theme. I'm sure you know how to do this already. But here I am. I'm using an Online Store 2.0 theme, okay? And it's very cool. This is what it looks like. And as you can see, these are all blocks now. So like the price, we can actually move the price around. This used to be something that was quite static before on older themes, right? But now you can move everything around, and everything's a section, and everything's all the things inside sections, they're all blocks. You can drag everything around. This is amazing for so many stores, because it has so much potential. You can now completely redesign your product page, right? You can tell a story about your product on your product page, and you're not limited by the standard Shopify layout of like the image on the left, the product info on the right, followed by a description, followed by related products, and that's it, right? You can add as much content as you want to that page. But anyway, that's a little bit off topic, but that's like, I'm just talking about Shopify 2.0 and how good it is. But let's actually add our Metafield, okay? I actually have an even better example on this store, which is the fabric. Okay, this is a Metafield that I created earlier when I was playing around with them. But I'll show you first on the product intro line that I set up when I was showing you on Fresh Ego Kid. This product intro line, I've already set up this Metafield exactly the same way as I showed you. Okay, so inside products, we can now see the product intro line. I'm gonna say this is a great product. I'm gonna save. And then how do we add that Metafield to the template? Okay, that's what this part of the tutorial was about. So we're gonna add a block here, okay? In the left, in the sidebar, we're gonna add a block, and it's gonna be a text block because that's the content type of our Metafield, right? Remember, we chose that it would be text. So I'm gonna select text, and we can see that it's appeared here. Text block, okay. There it is at the bottom of this section. I'm gonna drag it up right under the price because that's where we want our line to be. Our sentence, our subtitle, whatever we're calling it, intro line, okay. And see, instead of this text, we have this button. We can insert dynamic source. So what does that mean? What's a dynamic source? Dynamic in this case refers to the fact that it's different on every product, okay? So if I was to keep it like this, text block, the words text block, it would be like this across all products. See this line here? This divider? This like separator? Yeah. So this separator, this is not dynamic. This is part of the template and it's going to show up on all products. But we want to insert a dynamic source, and that means linking it to a Metafield. Okay. They could have said link Metafield, but okay, insert dynamic source. And here we're going to see our Metafields. So now we're going to see all the Metafields that we created. Okay. So here's the Metafield we created, product intro line, right? We're going to select that. Click insert. Okay. And it inserted it exactly where my cursor was actually. So this text that was like text block, it's actually separated now, but we're going to just remove that. We don't need it. So here's the field, and you can see that this is a dynamic source. And we can see it on the front end as well. This is a great product. Okay, so that's the Metafield that's the data that I added for this Metafield here. Now I also want to show you another example. This is probably like a slightly better example. I have this Metafield for fabric. And this is probably a better use of Metafields, like a better example, because to be honest, the product intro line, that's like not very useful, but fabric is useful. Like what if we want to add a line somewhere that says the fabric of the product, and we don't want it to be like part of the main description field. We want to add it somewhere else. We want to add it, like we want to put some emphasis on it, right? Especially if a product is made of a unique fabric, say it's 100% cashmere or something. We want to emphasize that. We don't want it to get lost in the description, right? So as you can see, I've already filled out the fabric Metafield on this product. And we're just going to go add block. This Metafield is also a text block. I'm going to move that to the top under the price. Okay. So it says text block again. And then I'm going to insert the dynamic source. I'm going to choose fabric. Okay. And here's a better example of how we can mix dynamic and static content. So here we have the dynamic source, which is 60% cotton, 40% polyester. And here I can just add the word fabric, right? And now it's like fabric, 60% cotton, 40% polyester. So now on every product, you're gonna see this word fabric. You don't need to add the word fabric inside of here, like, right? Because if we weren't able to mix static and dynamic content here, then we would have to write fabric 60% cotton, 40% polyester inside the Metafield data, which we don't want, right? So this is really useful, okay? Really useful. So I'm gonna hit save. And so just to recap, to use Metafields, you need to be using a theme that is on Shopify 2.0. Okay, and you'll be able to upgrade themes for free if you've already purchased the theme at any point in the past. You'll be able to update the version for free. All right, and if you're looking for a new theme or you want to redesign your store in the new year, now is the perfect time because of Shopify 2.0 and all these new features, and the fact that it's been 6 months now since Shopify 2.0 was released, and so a lot of theme developers have had time to catch up, right? And release themes that are on Shopify 2.0 architecture. So it's the perfect time to get a new theme, okay? If you're looking for some recommendations of which themes are the best ones, I'll be releasing a new video very soon, probably next week, about my top picks for themes in 2022, obviously on Shopify 2.0. So subscribe if you are interested in seeing that video. I'll also be releasing videos very soon on, there will be a video on bulk editing Metafields. Okay, so what I showed you today is how to edit Metafields on the product page. But what if you want to edit Metafields for 100 products, or what if you have 500 products, right? I'll be showing you some tips, some hacks, some quick ways that you can bulk edit Metafields, okay, if you have a very large store. And I'll also be releasing videos, more videos on the topic of Shopify 2.0. So I'll be talking about sections everywhere. I'll be talking about app installation. I'll be talking about the new filtering in Shopify 2.0. These are all other features of Shopify 2.0 that I haven't talked about today. All I talked about was Metafields, right? So if you're interested in those topics and how you can better use Shopify 2.0, then subscribe. All right. If you had any questions about Metafields, if anything wasn't clear, leave a comment. I might reply to your comment. I might make a whole new tutorial video if your question requires a video. That's all for today. Leave a like if you found the video helpful, and I'll see you next time.